So you drove
Mhm.
all the way from Florida to your new home in Nicaragua, and you
Yes.
saw migrants going the opposite
Oh,
direction. You're like, "I'm
thousands,
leaving. I'd
thousands.
turn around if I were you guys." What was it
Yeah.
like?
Well, I actually talked to, I was staying in Veracruz, Mexico. And I was talking with the lady at the front desk, and she's like, "I want to move to New York." And I was just like, "You do?" I was like, "You know, you don't. You want to stay here." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, New York's not a place you want to be right now." I was like, "Would you want to live in Mexico City?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "You don't want to go to New York." So a lot of the people that are coming up think that there was actually an article a couple weeks ago about all the Venezuelans that went to Chicago are trying to go back to Venezuela. So it was crazy. Thousands and thousands walking down the roads. I had to be really careful. I drove Guatemala at night. I ran into a truck driver after I got through the Mexican Guatemalan border, and it was in the evening. It just took me a long time to get through the border. It took me a long time. Like, you'll run into stuff like this. Like, I'm driving through Mexico. I get to the border town, and all of a sudden there's a festival right in the middle of the main road that goes to the border. And then you got to try and find a way around it. And then you go around it, and there's like a horse parade, being the military is doing an escort on that. And it took me 4 hours to find a way to get to the border. And then it took me 4 hours to get to the border, get through it. And so I ended up being really late in this really small town. And I pulled over to a truck stop, and he was like, "Look, the roads are really narrow here. There's a lot of traffic. There's protesters blocking the road during the day. If you want to do the Guatemalan border, you got to do it at night." And so I did it at night. He's like, "You won't be able to see the road because there's no lines on the road and it's dark. There's no lights." He's like, "Just follow your GPS. That'll tell you where the road goes." So I did that. I drove Guatemala overnight, and I drove through El Salvador the next day, and I stayed in San Miguel. But there were thousands and thousands of people coming. I saw the most in Guatemala. They were just hiking the roads the whole time. I had to be very careful at driving at night, particularly because a lot of them are sleeping on the side of the road, or, yep, just like that. Yep. Lots of them. So, and it seems that going north is really easy. And then, I mean, the border inspections on the way down are not easy. You got to be patient. It's not easy to get down here. So it's very easy to
What
go north, from what I
country
understand.
what country did you see the highest concentration of people passing through? And obviously wouldn't mean they're from that country, but just curious where.
Guatemala,
Okay.
and a lot of Haitians. A lot of Haitians. I saw a lot of Haitians. I talked to a few of them, asked them where they're from. A lot of people from Haiti. I saw a lot in Honduras too. Um, I didn't see that many in Mexico because I was on the main freeways. Well, the main freeways in Guatemala are just kind of like side roads, essentially, but there was thousands and upon thousands of them.
If you are looking for an amazing wine, if you're looking for a way to support my work, I have a 2-in-1 deal for you. Go to AllisonWinePromo.com. You get 50% off my favorite wines and 50% off shipping. These are extremist altitude wines from between 6 and 9,000 feet in Argentina, extremely remote regions. The grapes work so hard for you. I would say they ne'er do work harder than any other grape out there probably for you. So you want hardworking grapes, hardworking podcaster, hardworking mom, and you don't have to work hard because you can just sit in your chair and watch all of this while you're drinking some amazing wine, or you're going to bring it to grandma because she voted the wrong way. She got the wrong shot. She did whatever you thought was wrong. Now you think, you know what? Let's let bygones be bygones. It's Christmas time to get together. She'll forget everything with one glass of AllisonWinePromo.com. So go get that wine, support the work. You can also go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, where we have some amazing roasts, light roast, dark roast. They're all USDA certified organic. They are also extremist altitude, really pro free speech company, small family owned, and from Nicaragua, the place we're talking about today. They also have a tea. They take the fruit that's around the coffee bean and dry it out, and I love it. It's called Katura tea. I like to cold brew mine. It's pretty low caffeine and high in antioxidants. Goes great with some lemon, and a great way to refresh yourself if you are technically in winter in Florida, or Jim's winter, which is like 80 degrees. Finally, got some vitamin D or omegas, or you need some, you can go to greenpasture.org and use the promo code Allison10, or just check out the affiliate links in the description. There's plenty of other products. The affiliate link will take you directly to Green Pasture, and all you have to do is shop around. However, if you just go to greenpasture.org and you use the promo code Allison10 at checkout, that is another great way to support my work. I have been taking the fermented cod liver oil, butter oil blend for, I don't know, 13 years. I healed cavities naturally with this product. I love this company. They brought me out to the Wise Traditions conference for the Weston A. Price Foundation this last year. I got to meet all kinds of amazing doctors and scientists and researchers and stuff. So love the company, greenpasture.org, and it's just a bunch of great products there. Jim, what if someone says, hey, these people are desperate to have a new and better life, and
Hmm.
you just crapped all over the United States by fleeing, to Nicaragua. You don't know how
Hmm.
good you have it in the United States. All these people are desperate to get here. You're moving to their country. They probably think you're nuts.
Probably. Um, a lot of them don't, because a lot of the locals here have talked to enough Canadians and talked to enough people that realize that we're coming down here for a simpler life. We're coming down here where we can actually, afford to live, and thrive. So the United States is great. It's just it's not going in the right direction. It's gotten away from its fundamental, founding principles and philosophies, and it's going through what every great empire slash republic slash goes through when it collapses. And you study the Roman Empire, and you'll see what's coming. So
Jim, what did you drive to get to Nicaragua?
I bought a 2003 Pathfinder for like $2,500 or $3,000, and I basically put about 2 or 3,000 into it. There was a couple options. The problem with Nicaragua is they will not allow you to import a vehicle that's over 10 years old. So if I would have gotten like a 4Runner or a newer vehicle, one, if you get a new vehicle, you kind of stand out a little bit, right? So I didn't want to stand out. I already stand out enough, big bald guy with a pit bull. The pit bull has helped. It got me through borders quickly. They were scared to death of pit bulls. That's one of the reasons I drove, because of my dog. I wanted a vehicle that blended in and that also I could get parts for here. So if I would have bought like a newer 4Runner, you can't get a decent 4Runner for under 15,000. And then I would have had to pay an import tax down here to get it down here. And then all the 4Runners here in Nicaragua are diesels, manuals, which I actually prefer. I love diesel manuals. They have a Hilux here, which is like the Tacoma, and then they have Land Cruiser, and they're all diesel manuals. So my thinking, I'm on a huge resort that's like 20,000 acres. So essentially my Pathfinder is now my glorified golf cart. So I drove it down here just to get me down here, because I had to bring my dog. I couldn't find a way to get my dog on the plane. And then I've heard horror stories about dogs dying on the runway down here because it's so hot. I was just like, I'm going to drive. So I bought an old Pathfinder with 4-wheel drive, and it just did its job. And now it's a glorified golf cart, beach buggy. It'll never leave the property here ever again. So,
Well, it's an experience of a lifetime, though I'm shocked you survived it. Though
really,
glad you did.
why are you shocked I survived it? You really think?
I don't
I,
know.
I've
I don't know. I can't believe someone can pull over on the side of the road in some of these countries and sleep without having someone knife them in their car. I don't know. It's just
if you stop at a gas station. I didn't sleep on the side of the
like
road. Only one
Mexico.
time I did.
Like,
Mexico, I
how did
was
a
very
cartel not come kill you in Mexico?
I- you know, I've been in Mexico a lot, and the thing about Mexico with cartels is if you mind your own business and you're not in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, um, generally if you're not dealing drugs, like the cartels are not even going to care about you, you know. And then if you do run into them, you just do your business, you look straight ahead, you don't like make a big deal out of it. I know a lot of people down that area that I called and talked to, and they told me what towns to stay away from, and where to stay and where not to stay and where to stop, and all that sort of. And the military presence in Mexico is insane. I've never seen so much military in my life.
And Jim
But
doesn't even speak Spanish. That's
I
another
do
reason I'm
not.
surprised you're alive.
Well, you just treat people well, you smile and you laugh and you use Google Translate and you do the best you can. And I was just very patient and smiled a lot. And I know enough Spanish to know that when I'm in trouble. But I'm getting better. But it was fairly reasonable, And anytime I needed to clarify things, I just used Google Translate really quickly, and it was good. And most of the borders you can pay for helpers, and generally
Mhm.
sometimes they'll rip you off, but they generally will help you get through, and they generally speak English for the most part. You just got to be really careful upfront with what price you set and things like that. So,
Okay, these last few questions are basically the same question, but I'll read all three
mhm.
of them. Critical thought: has Jim learned any propaganda fueling the US is great, let's go there narrative from any local source, DMSR, since someone wanted to move to New York City, I take it some group or someone's playing people moving to the USA. Have you seen any evidence of that? And who is communicating to these men to move to the USA? So that's the big picture question. Like, what's the
Yeah.
propaganda? Who's telling people to come? Like, why? Where is it coming from?
I well, I have personal opinion about that. I haven't seen anything directly. I'll ask some questions about that down here if there's actively people recruiting people to go to the States. I think the United States was, is this like shining beacon on the hill, and has been that way for a long time. So I think people kind of grow up thinking that, um, but for me, like where I am right now, I mean, I just had a nice local girl cook me 3 meals, clean my entire house, do my laundry, for $20. So, that to me, I mean, it's like that and every half an hour, I go get in the ocean and go for a swim and come back here. I mean, if beachfront property in Florida, 6, 7, $8 million, down here, I can get beachfront property for 150,000. So
Uh-huh.
to me, this is a dream here, and all my food is organic, even without even trying. And it's just a simpler life, and I love it. I'm in the right place. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
I want to make sure everybody knows I have a PO box now. All right. PO box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. Send me some mail. Send me your loose change. Send me a lottery ticket. Send me some pictures of the kids. Don't send me anything creepy that you made with cutouts from magazine articles, like the letters that serial killers use. Also, probably don't send me anything edible, because even though you're probably an awesome person, I'm not going to eat it for fear and paranoia that you are trying to poison me. That's just who I am. So I would love to hear from you. Some people don't like to use credit cards online. It's a great way to just send me a couple bucks if you want. If every single person who watches videos sent $1 a month, not only would it help buy groceries and whatnot, but I could probably hire a producer and we could like really churn out content. $1 a month. If every single person, $1 a month.